This is Johnny Fitness, GetDynamicResults.com, ExtremeSportWorkouts.com. We're here at Peak, New York City's premier training facility, and we're going to go over some exercises you can do for motorcycling. Motorcycling for most people, especially up north, is seasonal, so the way you train for it is going to change throughout the year, just like when you train a pro athlete for football or basketball or whatever. The most important muscle groups for motorcycling is going to be your core, keeping you on the bike, your head and neck muscles, keeping your head in the right position, which is really important to control where the bike goes, your gripping muscles, and your lats pulling to keep you on the bike, because that thing will move right out from underneath you, and then your adductors squeezing in to make sure that you stay on top of that bike, especially as you turn. If you're overweight, you're going to want to do cardio, because that's going to allow you to stay on the bike a lot more easily. If you're already in pretty good shape, you're going to want to work out 2 to 3 times a week, doing very basic strength training exercises in the off season, and then as you get closer to your on season, you're going to do more skill specific exercises. The biggest buzzword in fitness right now is functional training. It gets used a lot, it gets beaten to death. What everyone's talking about is transfer. Does this exercise transfer over to this activity? The thing about general strength training is general strength training will transfer over to any activity that you do. But as you get closer to the time where you're going to be competing, you want to ensure the most amount of transfer, which means you're going to pick exercises that are very skill specific, that really mimic basically the movement that you're going to be doing when you're performing. Okay, so we're talking about working out for motorcycling. One of the best exercises you can do is deadlifting. Really simple, but it uses a lot of muscles. You're basically going to take a back, bend the knees slightly, pitch forward at the waist. You're using your gripping muscles, you're using your lats, you're using your lower back. You're using them all to kind of hold your position, which is exactly what you need to do on a motorcycle, whether it's ripping around a track or you're cruising around a curve. You've got to keep your position. That's the most important thing. So you're going to want to train exercises that challenge you to keep a certain position. A lot of grip strength also. Holding on to these guys is hard after a while, especially as you get the weight up there. That's important. You got to hold on to that bike while you're accelerating, especially. Okay, so that was deadlifts. Another great exercise for motorcycling in the off season is going to be pull-ups. Okay, again, because of the grip strength, it's going to get you really strong, allow you to hold on to that bike as you accelerate. Another major one is going to be plank, holding this position, especially if you're on a crotch rocket, something where you're pitched forward and you have to hold that position for a long time. Your shoulders are going to have to be really strong. Now, as you get closer to when you're actually going to be out on your bike, you want to do something maybe a little bit more specific. One of the most important muscles I started talking about before is your adductors. That's your inner thighs in here. One of my favorite ones that really transfers well to motorcycling is going to be on the ball. You're going to be squeezing the ball with your knees together, and that's just like when you're on the bike and you have to keep the bike in between your legs or else you're in trouble, right? You can see my legs are outside, just like I'm over my bike, and I'm going to be squeezing them in towards each other, right? So this is going to be working my core, my balance, which is exactly what I need to have. I'm going to stay on the bike, squeezing my legs in. If you get really good at this, you can try and lift your feet up off the ground and just hold it. I'm squeezing, generating that pressure with my inner thighs to stay in the same position. As you get better at it, you can have someone try and push you. That's just like when you're turning the bike, the G-forces are going to try and push you off the side of it. Again, more important to be able to hold your position, which is what you need to do on the bike, and just stay stuck to it like glue, then do twists and rotations and things like that. That's why a lot of great motorcycle training is going to be isometric, holding your position. Again, when the winter just comes and you're not going to be riding your bike for a while, you want to be doing deadlifts, push-ups, pull-ups, all the basic strength training stuff, just like the pros do in the off-season. Then as you get closer and closer, you're going to want to do something a little more specific that's going to transfer over even better to the specific activity that you're going to be doing, in this case, motorcycling. Another one you can do, again, I'm squeezing my legs in, but now I'm down in that crouch position, right? And now I'm just mimicking being more on like a racing bike. Squeezing my knees in, and holding this position right here, tight around the turn. Again, as you get better, you can have someone try and push you to one side or another. Okay, so one other thing that I love doing with my clients that want to train for motorcycling is rock climbing. When it's cold, you go indoors, you work on your mental acuity under pressure, your grip strength, which has a lot of transfer for motorcycling, and it's such a fun way to train for motorcycling when it's cold out. Just got to have an indoor gym, get in there. It's way more mental than you would think, which is really important. You need to be focused under pressure when you're on a bike, just like when you're on a wall 50 feet up off the ground. It's going to use your hands a lot, which is really important for holding onto that bike. So that's a great one. Definitely highly recommend. Get on a wall, start climbing a rock to get prepared for that motorcycle in the spring when it gets warmer out.